In our last session, we were talking about this overall web design. We got everything working. We had our home page done. We had our contact page done. We had our shop done with one product added. And then we tested and set up PayPal and got it all working. However, there were a few items that just didn't look all that polished. And there was something that was frustrating me, which was the logo. So I went offline and I changed out the logo colors. Now, you know, we had already gone down and had changed out the logo color for the footer. So I already had a logo that I could use that had the white lettering in there. And so I wanted to have the white lettering logo as well as the dark lettering logo because of my sticky header. The sticky header looks great with a white background, but I just didn't like that kind of gray background for the shop. So I was working with this and I saw that the logo didn't look good on my shop page. And so when I go into my shop, what I ended up doing was I changed out the header to make it darker, and then I made this logo, the lighter logo, so that you could see the words Golden Gorilla on there. As you can tell, it already looks a whole lot cleaner, much more simplified. And so when I scroll down, my sticky header comes up. But something that I don't like is having this big image here. I'd rather just have my, shop items be the first thing that shows up. And because this was the default theme that we're using, sometimes you have to go in and just delete things that you don't want. So we'll quickly go in here to our dashboard. We'll go to our pages. And I'm going to scroll down here to shop and I'm going to click edit. And you'll notice right here it says shop intro. And that's that box that has everything in it that I don't really want. So I'm just going to delete that. I'll click update. And then when I go back here to view the page, that box should be gone. Yep, looks much cleaner. I still have my search functionality there. You can remove that another time. But something else that I didn't like was before, this color of this dollar symbol, this dollar amount, was purple. Well, the theme before was purple. And I had showed you how to change the colors, and I was going through things quickly. This was just a quick and dirty tutorial to kind of give you a way to set this up really fast. But then I thought, I want to make sure that they know how to go in here and change out this color, because that color is going to be like the main accent color for the whole theme. So that color is going to be used in multiple places. So if I go here to Aveda and I go to theme options and I go to my colors, well, you remember down here we changed out these colors and made them all the palette that we wanted to use for the entire site. Well, up here was the primary color, and it was set to that purple, but I just went down and I chose the gold color that we were using. And I noticed that when I used the gold, because that was a font color that sometimes is a smaller font, it was a little bit hard to see. So I actually chose this darker yellow gold, and then I even actually emphasized it just a little bit more so that it would make it stand out a little bit more on a white background. The great thing about that color is it stands out really well on a light or dark background. So that color is your primary color, and as it says here, it controls the main highlight color throughout the theme. So we changed that, and now that looks much better. But what I also didn't like for this particular theme was that we had gone into the typography, and we had changed these headers typography, and one of the ones we made a script, and that was this H3. Well, my word cupcakes on my product, it had the script. Well, for this bakery, I wanted to keep everything gorilla-ish, and this script did not feel very gorilla to me. So I'm just gonna quickly change it back to Oswald, like the other ones, and then I think that size is actually pretty good. So I'll leave it 36 pics, it's great. I'll hit save there. And now then when I go back to my bakery or my shop, see how much cleaner that looks? It says this cupcakes, it's $1, it stands out, looks much better. Something else that I could have done on that accent color, since a lot of the other stuff is gold, I can go here to colors, and I might just make that just a dark color and hit save changes. And now then when I go back to my shop, there it is, cupcakes. It looks a lot better. Now, we're doing all this on the fly, and literally I've been designing this as we go. And oftentimes that's what I do is I get in here and I don't even necessarily have a clear plan. I just know that I've got this bakery, I've got this theme, I've got this color palette, I might have a business name, and all of that is going to influence and impact the overall feel of the site. So if this was Elena's Floral Shop, then yes, those softer colors would have been great. But since this was Golden Gorilla, then I want to use a bolder font, heavier colors, and it all should tie it in together and be a nice cohesive feel. Something else, whenever you create a logo, you're gonna have that retina logo, you're gonna have that smaller, regular size logo, and whenever you put them in, sometimes the spacing around the logo is gonna be off. Well, the cool thing about this site is if I go in here to theme options, and I've added my logo right here, but then if I go to menu, main menu, it'll tell you right here, main menu height controls the menu height to match the logo height set to 92 pixels, 92 in pixels. So over here, I could drag this over and hit save. And then whenever I go to my Golden Gorilla Bakery, look how this is way down here. It's just off. So instead of trying to guess how to get that logo to center with your menu, it actually told you. It told you the number to put. I was like, that's so smart. It helps you out. It says, hey, to match the logo height, set it to this, because it knows what your logo height is, and it knows what's gonna be the best pixels for that. So a super smart little bonus thing there in this theme that you didn't have to go in there and do the math and keep playing with it. Just go into that main menu height and set that. Lastly, well, maybe not lastly, I have a couple more items that I want to show you just to add polish to the site. You'll notice that right here we've got these 3 boxes and they got this real subtle light gray background on them. Totally fine if you want to leave them like that, but something that you can do to take a page just up to that next level and to kind of showcase that, hey, I'm gonna make this, stand out, be a little different, is I'll go in here to this column and then I'll go to my design and I have this thing called border radius and I'll just add 10 pixels on each one. And you can just play with this number. You might want them more rounded, you might want them less rounded. Just depends. When I feel like something has a lot of rounded edges, I feel like it's a little more playful, a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle, might make it seem a little more corporate, a little more business-like. So I've got my padding, all that looks good. And then something else that I might want to add here is just this border size. If I want to add like a 3 pixel, 4 pixel border, and then I'll drop down here and I'll make it the gold color. This gold color may or may not look good, but it will show us what I'm trying to show you, which is making this rounded and kind of giving this a little more definition, a little more style. And this is going to be right now, it's just going to be on this one box. I'll click the view page. And like I said, I normally will make sure that I like one of them before I start changing out all the other ones. And so I come back in here, that border is just a little too thick for my liking on that, since it's such a loud color. And so I'll go in here, I'm gonna take this down to like 2 pixels, and then I actually might make that just a little more subtle. I just want it to be a little bit emphasized, not too crazy. And then I also will copy that color, and I'll remember that that's 2 and that these are 10. And I'll go ahead and change these out so that I can see them all right now. 2 on the border size, border color, I just paste it right there. And then 10 picks, 10 picks. Save, we'll do it one more time. Design, we're gonna hit save, we'll hit update. And there we have it. Just a little bit more emphasized in those boxes, makes them stand out, makes them have a little bit more polish. So the journal is I feel like one of the most important parts of any new website. And we'll talk more about this when we're talking about the business side of things. But whenever you're creating blog entries and updates and posts for your site, Google looks at that and says, this site's being updated with new content. Now, if you were to copy content from another site and put it onto your site, Google would say, oh, that's low quality content, and it would have a lower ranking. But brand new, fresh content, they're gonna see that and be like, oh, this is a higher quality site. better ranking, especially if you have good testimonials and good reviews and your site's having people engaged and you have a low bounce rate, but we'll get more into that. So I have this bakery stories right here. I'm gonna click edit page. Right now that background is kind of a gradient. And this says page title bar. So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna do background, and it says gradient right here. I'm gonna remove that. I don't want it to be gradient at all. And I will just take these to 100 and click save. I'm gonna click update, and that background should just be white now. Okay, so it looks better. But if I wanted to, I could add a photo to that background. And if I add a photo, I know that my fonts are gonna need to be white. So I'll go in here to this title and this design. And here's my font color. Now it's this gold, I'm gonna make it white. And then here, just select it all and choose white on that right here. I'll click save. Of course, you could change that out to say something else that fits your description. And I'm gonna go to the background, I'm gonna choose an image, and I'll upload an image. And I'll just choose this one that has this cool kind of a bunch of pastries and stuff around it. I'll hit save, and I'll hit update. Now, it may or may not have a full width background image when we hit view, so we might have to go in there and change that setting as well. But let's have a quick look-see. Yeah, already looks better. Kind of has a cool look and feel to it, gives that page a little more pop. Before, that gradient was just kind of boring. And so you can play with those colors, play with the sizes. What I love about this theme too is that if I was to click on edit page, and I decided that I wanted to use this bakery stories on another page, I could click save here, and I could just enter a name. I could say bakery stories header. And I would know that that's where that came from. I just click save on that container, click here. I don't even have to, once I save that container, it's saved within WordPress. I don't even need to hit update again. It's always good to hit update if you think you've made a change. And then I go to my gallery, which is just gonna be, kind of a cool bunch of pages, but if I decided, bunch of pictures, if I decided that I wanted to add that same header, I could click edit page. I could go down here and I could click on this plus sign for container, and then I can go to library containers, and I can choose this bakery stories header. So it's right here, and it's gonna be below this main one. And since I want it to be at the top, I can just put it right here. I'm gonna hit update. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So I just moved it right over. And then you're like, okay, Eddie, well, there's this weird home gallery. That's called breadcrumbs. And I can click here and go to edit page. I zip down here to the bottom. There's a whole bunch of settings down here that you can play with. But page title bar, it says breadcrumbs search. I can tell it to just have search bar, or I can just tell it to have none. And I'm gonna say none, and I'm gonna hit update. I'll click on this view page. And so sometimes if there's still some spacing there, some padding, then what I've got to do is I've got to go down here. I'm gonna zip down here, page title bar, and right now it says page title bar is set to show. I'm gonna set it to hide. I don't need that page title bar to be there at all. I've created my own title with this separator thing. Let me double check that with an extra update for save. And there we go. If you were to design this site from scratch, you would not have to worry about a lot of these little things that you're like, oh, how did they do this? However, to me, it's totally worth spending a little extra time jumping through those hoops and figuring things out like, hey, why is that doing that? Because they've went ahead and built in so many things that I can just use, like this right here. Already has a cool drop shadow in this picture. And as I'm going through this theme, I actually see what they've done and it teaches me. And so I'm the type of person that I learn by doing, but if I have a blank canvas, sometimes I don't even know where to begin. So I love Aveda and this theme, their support, and in the back end of the site, whenever you get into your content and the resources, I'll have links to other tutorials if you want to get more granular and dig into this theme even more. But already this entire site is coming together very nicely. We have our journal, we have our shop. It's clean, it's simple. We have our contact page. That's something that they can easily contact you with. Once again, this header, if you want to change that background to be darker, you can put a picture back there. Lots of options that you can use. But that concludes our tutorial on just how to get an overall polish on the last little details of this site. Join me in the next segment, and we're going to talk about how to market your website, installing a plugin for SEO, and how to continue to get your business off the ground fast.